Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. I'm Zakaria Falanda, the director of Equilibrium Elementary School. The last time we spoke, I spoke to you about the idea of transdisciplinary learning. How when we teach subject matter, we don't teach them in isolation, but we teach them in a transdisciplinary manner where subjects overlap, concepts overlap, and skills overlap. And in this way, we hope to have a holistic approach to education. I dealt with the first three concepts, which is belief in Allah, knowledge, and then also concepts. Today I would like to unpack the three remaining concepts that forms part of our holistic learning package to our students at Equilibrium Elementary School, inshallah. So as part of our transdisciplinary learning, it is important that each subject should teach skill. A student should get some form of a skill out of a subject, which is what do we want the student to be able to do. Each teacher or educator should be asking this question of their subject matter: what is it that they want the student to be able to do? And in this manner we start to develop skills within the learner that the learner can not only use in the one subject, but if he is taught it in the one subject, he can transfer it and he can apply it in another subject or in another area of his or her life. So some of the skills that we seek to develop within all the subject matter that we teach is social skills, it is communication skills, it is thinking skills, very important, research skills for the student to be able to undertake their own research and to become independent and take charge of their education to a certain degree. And then also in terms of self-management, that they should develop those skills where they are able to look after themselves and manage the educational process, inshallah ta'ala. So transdisciplinary skills, an important concept that forms part of our holistic learning package. The other one is attitudes. We mentioned this in the past when we said, what do we mean when we say attitudes? What do we want the student to feel? What do we want the student to value? And what do we want the student to demonstrate? It is important for an educational institution, for a school, to think about this. How does the school make the child feel? What is the school type of values are the school imparting that they want the child to share in, and what do they want the learner to demonstrate in terms of attitudes? So there's a whole list of this, inshallah. I'm going to mention each and every one of them, and although the list is long, I want you to think about it, because this is important, that knowledge that is imparted and an education that is being taught, it should be done in a manner that takes the development of these attitudes into consideration. We want the student to be able to have tolerance, respect, integrity, independence, enthusiasm, empathy. There should be curiosity on the side of the student to want to learn, to want to experience. There should be an opportunity to creatively express him or herself. There should be cooperation, there should be a confidence development, and there should be development of communication. These are the important areas that we have identified in terms of attitudes that each and every teacher needs to nurture and needs to develop within the child, irrespective of what subject matter the child is busy with in terms of their schooling and the hour of school that they are at. It doesn't matter what they are learning. These are the universal attitudes that we at Equilibrium believe should be espoused at all times, inshallah ta'ala. The last thing that I want to share with you today in terms of our holistic approach to education, in terms of concepts, is that of action. How do we want students to act? So we, as individuals, as adults and as educators, we want students to be socially responsible. We want socially responsible action, and this should come through also in the learning environment and in the subject matter that is being taught. When we say socially responsible action, we mean action which is initiated by the student. The action should not necessarily be initiated at all times by the educators and by the educational institution. We should empower the student to the degree that the student develops the ability to act and is self-inspired to act, has the confidence to be self-inspired and to initiate his or her own action. The student should not be afraid to volunteer himself or herself. They should volunteer their action, and they should volunteer their skills, and they should want to be part of the greater offerings, what is happening around them. And lastly, they should think about the social impact of what they are doing. That whenever they are doing something, they should be taught to think about the implications of what they are doing. How are they adding value? How, through picking up the paper or painting the wall or saying a kind word, have they changed the environment in which they live? And how, when they don't do these things, does it have an adverse effect on the environment? So these three things, I'll just mention them quickly again that we have mentioned. We said transdisciplinary skills are important, attitudes are important, and lastly, action is important as well. And this makes up the components of our holistic learning experience. How do we implement this approach? Inshallah, next time when we meet, I'm going to talk about our approach in terms of how we want to unpack this and how we actually deliver on this, inshallah. Shukran for listening. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.
Be sure to like our Facebook page and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Turn on past notifications to be notified every time our latest educational videos are posted.